That's one of the most rewarding things I do is I see kids that maybe they see a chicken. It's the first time they've ever seen chickens and eggs and where they come from. Honestly, it seems crazy, but I think it happens a lot there. When I was deployed to Iraq, my wife used to record the races, and I'm talking, GT cars like BMWs and not NASCAR or India Formula 1, any of that, like the obscure stuff. She would record that for me on DVD and send it to me, and I'd watch them over there. We had to get all the staff in front of us and say, you know what, we can't be open for we don't know how long. You're not gonna be able to come to work tomorrow.
Have you ever wondered how to get your daily serving of fruit, but in a beer? Well, we're here to welcome Clay Kiehl from Kiehl of Keel Farms, and he's going to tell us how to do that. Well, hopefully he is. Welcome, Clay. How are you doing today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Kiehl and Keel, it's a known name. Maybe 20 years ago, it was really small, but now you can pick it up in every local grocery store. It's fantastic. How did you get into wine? That's not something you just wander into.
Yeah, I know. I have to give my father a ton of credit. He's a farmer from way back. He's from Illinois, grew up on a farm and wanted to do that here in Florida. And he started farming here and built our current farm about 45 years ago and worked his way from trees and shrubs to growing blueberries. And then while he was selling blueberries, he had some extra ones at the end of the day and said, well, I'll just start making wine with it. And that was 2003. And since then, we're in 1,500 retailers all over the state of Florida. And mostly Publix, but also Walmart, Winn-Dixie, Total Wine, ABC. You can find us all over the place. We're definitely maybe not the biggest winery in the Southeast, but one of the more notable ones, I would say.
That's absolutely fascinating, taking this Florida fruit and actually turning it into something that is absolutely incredible. So I heard you right. Your father started this, so you're already second generation.
Yeah, we are second generation. I did some time in the military after college. I went to USF and then went in the military for 6-7 years, and then I worked a little bit with him. I started my own brewery and restaurant with some friends up in Buffalo that was successful. And when he was looking to retire, he said, hey, do you want to buy it? And I said, yeah, I mean, it's too cool not to. So that was 7 years ago, and I'm having a blast.
That's amazing. And you have a couple of kids, I think, right?
Yeah, 2 daughters.
And so are they starting to learn the family business already?
Yeah, the older one is an artist. I'm really proud of her. She's a great artist. She's on that track and really great. So she's probably not interested in the farm and the animals and making wine. But the younger one in high school, she's in the vet tech program. So I got some hope. Maybe
you got some hope there?
Maybe she'll start the cattle farm or something.
Well, maybe the oldest one can design some of the labels.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you'd be a proud dad. I mean, I would brag relentlessly about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're both great.
Okay, so the listeners really want to know, white or red for you?
Oh, wow. I mostly drinking red wine.
Okay, red wine? Me too. I'm a Cabernet guy, but if I get into the sweet, that sweet blueberry you have is insanely good.
Thank you. Yeah, the blueberry wines, those are 100% blueberry. We have to buy them from all over the state now. I don't have enough acreage for it. We buy hundreds of thousands of pounds of blueberries, but yeah, the dry is probably my favorite, and that's the one where you can really taste the actual fruit and the aroma is there from the blueberries, but you still kind of get that, we have a process that we've perfected over time that gets it pretty darn close to a grape wine. And, blueberries are the second best fruit to make wine with, but we can grow some pretty nice blueberries in Florida. So.
Well, so are you hiring right now? Because, this sounds like an amazing job. I can test all day long.
Yeah, we're only hiring taste testers.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's the only position I have available.
You heard it here first. I'll be working right here, or I'll be working in Plant City tasting the wine. It's absolutely phenomenal. So you've done a lot in this community, and especially in the last 7 years, I can tell a different mentality shift. Dad leaves, he's tired, he wants to retire, but the next generation always has a new idea. Nothing wrong with the way things were done, but you wanted to do something different. So you actually started to turn this into a destination, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so tell me a little bit about how you turned that into a destination and what your objective was, what your goal was there.
Yeah, I think probably the biggest change was we changed the name of the location kind of back to what it originally was, which was Keel Farms.
Okay.
Kiehl and Keel Winery is the brand. The Curly is my grandmother's family, which I'm really proud of, and I still have Curlies that come out and help me and are really proud of the brand as well. So Keel and Keel is not going anywhere, but we changed the name of the location to Keel Farms. It's Kiehl and Keel Winery at Keel Farms. Then the beer and the cider is Keel Farms Ale and Cider. Only because we wanted it to be a little more family friendly, right? And if you're thinking about, I want to take my family out, taking them to a farm is a little more appetizing than taking them to a winery. And then we rebranded the experience as well. So now, bigger playground, more animals, bigger farm area to go pick fruit and berries and just walk around. It's more welcoming and open, and just all great kids meals and pet friendly. And so we made that family friendly transition, and then added just a ton of family friendly events throughout the entire year, which has been really successful.
Okay, and let's talk about those events, because this is a year-round destination. You can go pretty much any time of the year and go and hang out at the farm, sample food, wine, beers, see the animals. But you have a couple of particular festivals, and it started, I believe, with your Blueberry Festival, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was your signature before you figured out how popular it was, and then you did things for the other fruits. But tell me, what made you think, hey, let's do a big festival?
Yeah, no, the blueberry was at the time when we started the Blueberry Festival. We've been doing it 17 years. The blueberry was still relatively unknown in the area. And it's still the little brother to the strawberry, obviously in Plant City. But blueberries are grown here, and we just wanted to celebrate that and get the word out and recognize it. And we've had a lot of success with that. We added a strawberry bash. That's one weekend, a fall festival that we do all of October, which is really successful, and then a watermelon for one day in June. So we have 4 festivals throughout the year now.
That's incredible. So, first of all, June's my birthday. It's coming up, so I might have to come and check that out, because I do love a good watermelon. And so you really captured a lot of Florida grown fruit.
Yes.
And then you made events that are family friendly, which is so key. So you let the parents experience the wine and adult portion of it, while the kids still get to be included, and it's not a boring trip somewhere to look at a couple of vines.
Yeah, and inspired by other folks out there that have had a lot of success with this and done some great things, like Jester King Brewery in Austin, Texas. Magnolia, everybody knows that, in Waco. And then some of the where we lived in, when I was in the military, we lived in Detroit, outside Detroit, and there's just great apple farms, and take the family out there, and corn maze, and such a great experience. And I think that was lacking a little bit, and we're trying to offer that to families here in the Tampa area. Yeah,
you're bringing that Midwest hometown feel straight here to Plant City, Florida.
Yes, absolutely, and it works out because a lot of the folks that are from those places moved down here, and they're looking for that experience that they had in Buffalo or in New York or in Detroit, and we're offering that.
Yeah, well, let's talk about traveling. So agritourism. People don't realize that agriculture is the #1 industry in our state. They all think it's hospitality. It's not. It's agriculture. Fruit, beef, phosphate, all kinds of things. I grew up in Florida. I was an FFA kid.
Oh wow!
So I'm like, when we talk farming stuff, I nerd out a little bit because it's pretty cool. I don't care about the pretty stuff on the back. I want to see the backside of the farm. I want to see how the operations work. But you're talking about agritourism now, which is a whole new industry that's really just starting to open up. Tell us a little bit about what that is. What does it mean?
Yeah. So the state recognized leadership in Tallahassee recognized this a couple decades ago and really started pushing it. They passed some legislation. We get some liability protection if somebody gets hurt on the farm. We get some protection from local county ordinances, so that if they try to restrict us from bringing guests onto the farm, parking, noise, any building permits and stuff like that, it helps out. So I applaud them for recognizing that, because unfortunately, you said it, agriculture is huge in our state in the history, and think about the citrus industry and where that was when we were kids, and now where it is. And unfortunately, it's all on the decline for a number of reasons. Development is probably the biggest reason, which is okay, but we need it. And we need to get kids out there, show them, where the food comes from, show them the strawberry bush plant, the blueberry bush, the chickens, the goats. And I think we offer that, and we love to be able to do that. That's one of the most rewarding things I do, is I see kids that maybe they see a chicken. It's the first time they've ever seen chickens and eggs and where they come from. Honestly, it seems crazy, but I think it happens a lot there.
That is crazy. I mean, I grew up in a rural area in Kathleen, and so we had chickens and ducks and pigs and all kinds of things. I'm used to animals, but when I hear the story of a kid's never seen a chicken, never seen a goat, never done that blows my mind.
Or never seen a strawberry plant.
Really?
That's where strawberry comes from.
Yeah,
right.
It's directly, And I mean, I grew up around them. When I was in college, I live out in Dover, and you would hear hear them rounding the field every morning at 6 a.m., waking you up as a college student. That was lovely. That's incredible. So in addition to what you're doing on the farm, you don't just keep yourself on the farm. You start to partner with outside organizations. And so Feeding Tampa Bay does so much for our community. Yeah. You recognize that, and you said, hey, let's partner up. Tell me about what you're partnering with, what you're doing, and how can people participate in that?
Yeah, it's just one example, and I have to give a lot of credit to my team. My COO, Wendy, she gets out there and networks and meets all these great people and finds pathways to work together and do amazing things like we're doing with Feeding Tampa Bay. So we produced a cider with a cinnamon toast crunch, which was really cool, and they even let us use the name, which I was surprised General Mills is like, yeah, go ahead, do it.
That's incredible.
Which is really neat. So it's a cinnamon toast crunch cider, and it's a unique experience. We make a lot of different ciders, and one of the interesting things about beverages is you have to kind of get there with the aroma. Like you can't always put the flavor in there, but the aroma is actually way stronger than flavor when it comes to perception and your brain and memories and all that. So it's a lot of fun to come up with these unique flavors like the cinnamon toast crunch cider, and the partnership with them is we created the cider, and then there's a portion of the proceeds goes whether you buy it at our place, at our tasting room, or on draft at places like Publix and other bars and around Tampa Bay. Portion of those proceeds goes back to Feeding Tampa Bay. So we're excited to work with them on a fun, creative project like that, and it helped market them.
Absolutely. And how does somebody try this? Like, where do they get it from?
Yeah. Well, it'll be available starting May 1st at our tasting room.
Okay.
And if you bring in 2 cereal boxes, you get a free one.
Oh.
But if you buy it, we give $2 from every pint back to Feeding Tampa Bay. But it'll also be sold through J.J. Taylor distribution to bars and restaurants. So I would expect probably somewhere around 75 to 100 different bars and restaurants around Tampa Bay. And you can always ask for it at your favorite place. I know Publix is going to have it at anywhere where they have draft at their locations, like Water Street, for instance.
Okay.
Go down there and give it a shot.
Okay, so you can drink for charity.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're kind of obligated to do this because it's for charity.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like that creative approach that you have. That's more justifiable than I'm going to have a drink.
Right.
So we talk about this a lot in construction, and you just kind of tapped on it lightly in agriculture, but sustainability. So where you say, urbanization's happening, which we need density, that's a given, but we have to maintain a certain level of agricultural production.
Yeah.
It's even national security. We have to be able to feed our own people in times of crisis or emergency.
Right.
And, you're contributing to that one way or the other. And in the event of an emergency, you could actually feed people with your fruit. Right. So what steps are you taking on your farm to help promote sustainability, to maybe be more efficient with your growing practices?
Yeah, no, there's a number of things that we've implemented. Simple things like Southwest Florida Water Management District helped me get a weather station, and when you have a really good weather station, you can water less. So it's a lot of little things like that. We have a solar-powered drip irrigation out of a pond. Obviously we're recycling all of our bottles, which is more challenging than you would think.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this area, so we collect all of our bottles ourselves and take them to Sarasota to be recycled properly. So we're doing a lot of little things like that, because sustainability is exactly that. That's it's a principle of ours. One of the interesting things about us is the only thing that comes on the property is electricity. Everything else, we have our own wells, we have our own septic, our own industrial wastewater plant. Everything is there. So the electricity comes on, raw materials come on, and then a dumpster a week and a couple dumpsters of recycling, and that's all we produce, and we're pretty proud of that.
Wow, you're not off grid, but you're a lot closer than many operations are.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's also an opportunity to where we have to process all of our own waste and sewer and wastewater, and I've learned a lot about those industries.
And so tell me a little bit about how COVID affected your business, because some businesses are still recovering or didn't. And we're already in 2026. That was 6 years ago. It seems like yesterday. How did that affect your business?
Yeah, I would say there's probably a lot of B2C experience, B2C companies, roller coaster. That's the best way to say it. Like a lot of other people, we had to get all the staff in front of us and say, you know what, we can't be open for we don't know how long. So you're not gonna be able to come to work tomorrow. That was really tough. I had at that time probably 50 part-time employees that were servers and hosts and cooks and all that. So that was a really hard conversation. And then, there's sort of like 2 to 3 weeks of what are we going to do? And, there's no revenue coming in. And then 4 weeks later, Publix just gives us the biggest order we've ever had, because everybody's going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
They can't go to the restaurant to get alcohol, so they got to go to the grocery store. So I think it was like 30 pallets. At that point, we were averaging 3 pallets a week to Publix.
Wow.
And 1 week they ordered 30, so that was a welcome surprise and really built our relationship with Publix. And now we've expanded the products that they have 3 or 4 times more products than they did back then. So that's been great. And then not too long after that, as you know, Florida was one of the only places that was open for business. So everybody was moving down here and coming here to vacation, and then the hospitality side took off. And then unfortunately the workforce just wasn't there for all the demand. So that was the next challenge, is how do you find all of these people to these customers are now coming in, and you go from 0 to 100 miles an hour, and you got to staff and train, and that was very, very difficult. And I'm just explaining the entire experience of the restaurant industry in general.
Yeah.
And it just started leveling off, I would say, about 24 months ago.
Okay.
Something like that, where, now we're at a balance, a supply and demand balance of staff, and starting to get some consistency.
Let's shift gears just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk tech.
Sure.
Technology is getting into the agricultural industry, and we're finding tech is helping farmers operate more efficiently, use less pesticides, determine better growing formulas, seasons, plantings. AI has probably created a whole new world that most people don't think, you can't use AI on a farm. I bet you can.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about how you're using some new tech that somebody might not realize you're using.
That's a great question. And first, I'll just in general say, in the agriculture industry, there's tons of tech. I mean, I'm friends with the Parks and the Parksdale Farms family. They're one of the biggest and most successful strawberry farmers in Plant City. And he doesn't move his tractor till his GPS is on and tells him exactly where to go on the field to plant as many plants as possible, as efficiently as possible. And you'd be amazed on the technology inside that tractor that helps him do everything just right. As an example of things that are already going on, I know Wish Farms is working on an automated strawberry picker, for instance, and they're way ahead of the curve. If you've seen their cool building over there on I-4. At our farm, I've always been a little more progressive on trying to adopt technology. And right now it's interesting timing, but I'm really training myself on what's out there in the automation, agentic AI space. Mm-hmm. Because when what we do, wineries, distilleries, breweries, it's a very high compliance demand. A lot of administration. I probably have 30, 35 different agencies that regulate me.
Okay.
Whether it's on the agriculture side, on the alcohol manufacturing, taxation, zoning, EPC, EPA, Department of Ag, they all want a piece of our making sure we're doing the right thing and we're not harming the environment and we're not harming anyone, which is understandable, but it's also a huge administrative load. So I'm really excited about the potential to be able to handle all of that more efficiently with some of this agentic AI stuff coming. And I think lots of people underestimate it, how much it's going to change and what you're going to be able to do in just a year or two with things like the new, Perplexity computer that can automate your entire business. Pretty soon it's going to be quick.
It's absolutely incredible. I was just speaking at an AI tech conference in Helsinki, Finland.
Oh, wow.
And it was in construction. Okay. And people don't exactly know what's going to happen, but they all know you have to learn it and you have to figure it out and apply it. And there were 400 individuals represented, from smaller companies at $5 million to companies doing $200 million. They all have the same problem. How do we use it more efficiently?
Right.
And so it's an industry wide, but I think agriculture is a little bit like construction. They're a little slower to adopt new tech, but our generation has said, we grew up with the internet, or the internet had just kind of started for us, right?
Yeah.
And we're more comfortable with that. And so I think we're going to start seeing a revolution in every industry, but especially those slow to adopt, like construction, like agriculture. Because if you can cut your watering schedule, if you can do all that compliance paperwork with one person instead of 30, that is a drastic change, and it increases accuracy. And if the government's happy, they're leaving you alone.
Yeah, you and I are on the same page on this. And what I want to do is I want to reduce the man hours that are doing those administrative tasks and then put them into innovation and put them into customer facing. I can't stand when we don't have somebody greeting the customer with a smile and telling them the whole Keel Farm story. And if it's because they're working on a spreadsheet for excise tax, we got to fix that. We got to fix that.
What do you mean you don't want to sit there and do excess tax?
Right.
That's great. That's how I fall to sleep every night.
It's a pretty big tax in the state of Florida, I'll tell you.
Yes, I bet it is. So, Hey, Clay, so we have something cool here. We have an actual Tommy's Toolbox.
Look at that.
This is Tommy's Toolbox, the Leadership Edition, and we have some questions in here.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what these questions are.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen? I'm going to open this, and you're gonna peek in. You're going to grab a slip of paper and hand it to me.
Okay.
And then you got to answer the question. It's mandatory.
Fair enough.
Okay. You ready? All right.
I'm an open book. There you go.
Awesome. Calculate the value of pi to 14 spots. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Can I get my ChatGPT out?
What's the most random skill you have that would shock people?
Oh boy, random skill. I am a little bit of a jack of all trades and master of none kind of guy.
Okay.
I'll just throw a few out there that are kind of fun. Like I taught myself to juggle. I can juggle.
That would have shocked me.
Yeah. I just one day I wanted to learn it, so I just practiced until I figured it out.
If we're out on the farm, do we get to walk up and see you juggling sometimes?
Sure, I do it. Yeah, I do it randomly.
Awesome. I want to see it with wine bottles, though.
Oh, yeah, I could probably do it, but it might not end well. I am a brewer. I'm a trained brewer. I'm a certified cicerone, which is a sommelier of beer. I'm also a certified beer judge.
Okay.
I grew up. It's kind of a funny story. I love driving cars. I built that skill up over time. It's actually very difficult, and I'm not super gifted at it, but I've taught myself over time. And that goes back to when I was a kid on the farm, and when I first started working on the farm when I was about 10 years old. I think my dad paid me like $1 an hour, $2 an hour. I don't remember, but I worked enough to afford a little go-kart that I would then fly around the farm on, and then it broke, and I would have to work again to fix it, whether it was the clutch or the tire or whatever. So my whole life has been that. When I was deployed to Iraq, my wife used to record the races, and I'm talking GT cars like BMWs and not NASCAR or India Formula One, any of that, like the obscure stuff. She would record that for me on DVD and send it to me, and I'd watch them over there. And so I've always been a huge fan, and so I love doing that. And so I've gotten to race amateur and done a little instructing and that kind of thing in driving. So I really enjoy that. Someday maybe I'll be able to do that more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with as well as the farm's going and maybe your daughter's taking over one day, you'll have some more race time.
Yeah, we'll see.
So I have to say you have officially made it as my favorite guest because you brought samples.
There we go.
All right. So what do we have here?
Yeah. So this is our elderberry cider. This hard apple cider. So it's fermented apple juice is basically what a cider is. It's closer to a wine, right?
Yeah.
You use a champagne yeast with the apple juice and ferment it out, and that's about 5.5%.
Nice.
And then elderberry. So we use fruits that are related to Florida, and we flavor the cider with it. And elderberry. This is the elderberry. This is our most popular one by far. And as we were discussing, elderberry is actually a native fruit to the state of Florida. You could go out to a large preserve and go walk around, and this time of year right now, between April and June, you'll find elderberries growing wild, especially in wetlands and in those kind of areas.
Wow. And I've lived here my whole life and didn't know that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Will you join me in a toast here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Thank you.
Ooh. All right. Cheers, and cheers to our viewers. Hey Clay, let's sample. Let's do the aroma, right? Oh, very nice. Oh, this is excellent.
Yeah, very drinkable.
This is so good. This is needed in the afternoon. Like maybe I can have the team start doing this all the time.
Perfect. I'll get you guys some.
Clay, how do people get in contact with you if they want to talk to you, or how do they get in contact with the farm if they want to come visit or have an event or just spend a family day?
No, thank you. Yeah, the website's keelfarms.com. Obviously, on the socials, where you can find us at Keel Farms. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. And then I'm always available as part of the business. I'm Clay at keelfarms.com. Email me or find me on Facebook as well.
Well, thank you, Clay, for coming in today. This was phenomenal. If you haven't tried the elderberry cider, it is absolutely amazing. And don't forget about Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's coming out May 1st. You can get it at the farm, and it's also helping Feeding Tampa Bay. So you're drinking for a cause, which is always a good time. Until next time on Tommy's Toolbox, I'm Tommy Whitehead. We'll see you soon.